So thank you, Andreu, for coming at Circles and for doing it in English. We've known each other for some years now, and it's a bit weird to
Yes,
speak in English.
always in Catalan,
Yeah.
not in Spanish. But
So Andreu, for everybody here, Andreu is one of the brightest founders I ever met, and that's actually the reason why I invested in him several years ago, and one of my most successful investments so far. Hopefully, it will end up because until you don't realize money, you never know. But so far, it's a super company going super well, and I want everybody to know Andreu because I think we can learn a lot from him. Andreu. Uh, Explain us a little bit what's in Novamat. You'll tell everyone better than me, and also a little bit about yourself.
uh, basically, it's in two sentences, we try to transform how children learn math in schools mainly. We are also starting trying to launch products to families directly, and we define ourselves as a comprehensive math core curriculum for schools. It's like it's not it's like a traditional approach directly to schools, but with a transformative approach in terms of math education and science base.
Yeah, and someone tells you that, and would you invest in it? It's a hard domain, and literally, what surprised me a lot when I met Andreu and when I met and the project is that they were so bold at what we're trying to do. You were already having some schools as customers, public schools. Like I would think, how can you sell to public schools? Like literally super hard, and that's what I mean. Apart from the passion that you hold, convinced me. So how was it? How were the starts? You know?
Yes, if you want, I can start since like the beginning. We are three co-founders. Two of us, Isaac and me, we met at the university here in Polytechnic of Catalonia. We studied civil engineering, and we were studying. And when we were 20 years old, in 2014, we started the first project. For us, it was on a startup. We didn't know what was on a startup and what was a VC. We started the first company in 2014 that was a math academy. We saw like an opportunity that there are so many kids with problems, no? In terms of math education and learning math, and we started to go to schools and to try kids to help them after school. Then gradually we realized that the kids are so many hours inside the school, and the way that they learn when they are in the school have changed little. Generally speaking, each school is completely different, and yes, we saw opportunity that we could disrupt the traditional industry of the textbooks, no? And we were very lucky in Novamat. We started in Novamat in 2017, but we started with another project. It was like our way to learn how to start a company, and in 2017 we convinced our third co-founder, Alex, that is the tech guy. Technology is key. Isaac is more focused on product. I'm more focused in business and people, and Alex in technology. And we also were very lucky. I always tell the same. The luck is very important because in the same time that we were starting in Novamat, we convinced two amazing women, Laura and Cecilia. Both of them are mathematicians. Both of them are PhD in math didactics, and they have dedicated their life to math education, working in the university, but in the same time in schools. And what we did is productify, no, her knowledge, and to bring this knowledge to the schools in a product, in an easy to use product. It's not an easy to use product because when the teachers have to want to change, but if they want to change, is a easy way to change, no? And then when we met, no, what we did first is to go to sell. We didn't have anything, and we were like investing in two things at the beginning, to the product and and selling the product. And it was like the best way to iterate fast and to be very close to the client. And the first year we convinced 13 schools in the first grade of primary. Uh, that year was crazy. Anything was working. we we redid the product. We did a lot of things, but as we were very close to the clients, at the end they became in Novamat not also. And next year we convinced 100 schools, but with two grades. No, we had like two directions of growth: number of schools and number of of grades that we were offering in the schools. And that was the key. And to summarize the introduction, one of the keys of when we started in this complicated market, all the markets are complicated, but selling to schools, is that our price when we go to school is very similar of the traditional textbook. We have a very similar price, and we replace the textbook. What it means? We don't suppose an increase, yes, and we don't have the school don't have to increase the budget in order to buy us. We replace, and that's key for the schools, because they have
They cannot extend the budget, but they can change.
yes, and that's always when I have to say an advice to someone who is doing anything with the schools in terms of a tech. I always say you have to replace something.
Yeah.
If you don't replace,
There's no more money than there is, so you need to change one. Replace something, as you say. Exactly.
yes. And after
So
after 2 years, no, in 2000, at the end of 2018, I met Enrique,
yeah,
and he invest with other people.
yeah, and it was, I think, you could have gone to more like professional money. You went to business angels like myself at that time, and I think it was very smart because from your side, the business was still being defined, and you needed to
And we
not
didn't
be
know,
pressured.
and we
Yeah.
don't know what we want. We
Yeah.
don't know if we want to grow in a BC mode, no, in a more, yes, or we
Super
want,
aggressive
yes,
or more
or we
organically.
want, yeah,
Yeah.
more organically, or we want to build something not as big as a BC, but also relevant. And yes, and what we decide is to identify people that understand the business and understand the industry, and convince them at the same time that it was key also that uh, almost 90% of the employees also invested. We were 15 people, and 12, 13 people, I don't remember exactly the number, invested
In their own
in that
company they
moment.
were working at,
Yes, it was
which
very.
is much better than the stock options. Them investing.
We tried to explain that it was a very risky operation, and but
Put all your salary here.
yes. No, it was small tickets,
But let me the spark moment, the moment where this gets, the catalyst of thinking I'm teaching kids to learn maths like an academy way, to say I'm going to build a product that's going to change the world, because we just started. This guy is changing the world. This product is going to many countries right now, including the US, and it's going very, very strong. But when was like, okay, what we're doing makes sense, and we can just do it everywhere. Like,
we never had this thought to go everywhere. No, it was yes, we were pivotating. No, we found, no, yes, we start a math academy, and then being very close to the schools in after school approach, no, trying to work with the schools to help these kids after school. We realized, yes, that at the end the key was inside the school. Kids are more than 6, 7, 8 hours in a school, and teachers and everything needs helps in math education.
can we take a learning here? Like, for example, that when you want to do a startup, first be very good at something, like that you're solving a specific problem, be very good, and then find a way to expand. Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs are trying to expand something that's actually not a solution to anything yet. So first focus on making a solution to something, and then focus to expand.
And our product was more complex in the beginning than is now. We have been simplifying all the time. We are simplifying. And for example, now after 7 years since we started, I didn't share many numbers, but we are now in 2,100 schools in 8 markets. We are now more than 500,000 kids are working within that. And more or less also teachers are very important for us. We also define ourselves as a teacher-led curriculum. We believe on teachers. We think that teachers are key as a guides, as a mentors in the learning process. And we have nowadays 20,000 teachers working in NOAD. And for example, now more than ever, we know and we think that it's the correct vision, that we have to focus on math. There are still a lot of schools who came and say, Andreu or a lot of colleagues, why you don't help us with science or with language? And it's something that we have been thinking a lot. And we think that the math problem that we have as a society is still very big, and we are far from solving.
Yeah.
And we have to keep to our vision and to.
So for everybody to understand,
Yes,
what they're doing is a tech product that actually replaces the textbooks in the past, and that allows people to learn at their own rhythm, probably, and helps the teachers transmit that learning to the kids and control it. No.
there are like two main parts of the product. I always explain like this. On average, a school dedicates 4 hours per week into math. Of these 4 hours, 3 hours, we don't need a one-on-one device. 3 hours per week, we don't need a computer or a tablet per kid. 3 hours per week, we need a teacher. And we will build the knowledge and the contents through a socio-constructivism approach, through conversation, challenge, collective activities. And once per week, with a platform for the kid, we practice in an individual way. But and during these 3 days, the technology is for the teacher. 3 days with the technology is target to the teachers, and 1 day the technology is directly to the kids. To explain.
And I can tell you, my kids use it. Each level gets from the app, from the technology, gets to the level of the kid. So they learn at their own pace. And this is perfect for the kids because they are all improving without going behind, which I think it's one of the key of the successes there.
I think that the key of the success, because we are not the first ones who are doing personalization in learning. There are a lot of players. We think that the key is that we combine the personalized tool with the curriculum, no? With the guides for the teachers, with what they do in the classroom, and these two parts talk. They are related. They are not completely separated. It's one of our main differentiators between like all the competitors in all the markets. It's an all solution for math.
And Andreu, all startups that are successful, reason behind is not only a great entrepreneur, but the team. Tell us, what was your secret formula for the team for creating a winning team?
It's a good question. I think that one of the first things that we have been useful to attract great talent is the project. At the end, everyone understands
it's a big mission, no?
Yes, the purpose is easy, no? To attract people. Everyone understands that math is a problem, and everyone wants to try to work in an impactful project. This is the first. The second could be, in our case, it's like people want to work with great people. If you are able at the beginning, no, to attract great people, this is like a loop, no? It's like something that, and the end is, and the third could be trying, yes, is to have the culture of a great culture in terms of transparency, ownership, letting people have mistakes.
I remember back in the day, you had one idea, which was hiring from a specific university, no? Like
Yes.
a highly thought university, no? Like a way of making sure that the people that came were somehow all of them data analysts profiles, and they were able to bring you to the next level, because at the end, that's your business.
Totally. No, people is key. People and culture, and we are now, in terms to just to you to know, we are 300 people working full time, and in 8 markets, as I said, and with 12 offices. We are an office first company. We believe it's really important to be in person,
be together, no?
Be together, and we born like that. And for us, was complicated to do a change, and we continue being an office first company. We have flexibility, but we believe that it's really important too.
So could you, from this growth process, could you share a couple of pivotal moments or challenging moments that you think that if the coin had been, heads or cross, would have been totally different? What do you say? What do you think that it's been at that moment? Maybe a pandemic or whatever. Like we were nearly,
before pandemic. I'm completely honest. The component of luck is big, and I explain very fast that we were born in the right place, in the right moment, and with the right people. with the right people, I told, we convinced two amazing PhD in math didactics that without these two women, we didn't start. We weren't anything. This is like with the right people, and the other people is important, but these two women, they brought us the science of math education, and the right moment and the right place. Catalonia is a place where schools have a lot of freedom to buy different products, and all the schools have freedom, public and private, and that's where the place in Catalonia. And in the right moment, in 2017, 3 years before, the Catalonia government changed the law in education to a more competency-based approach.
Okay.
And also schools were starting to look for different products to replace the textbook.
A door open.
Yes, it was like luck. But with luck is not enough. Then you have to work hard, of course, and to hire the right people and execute well and have good decision in terms of vision and direction. And then COVID also was tough. A lot of people thought, oh, you are an tech, you have technology, no? And okay, we were an tech, but we were selling to schools. The last worry, the last worry for the schools in March 2020 was changing the curriculum for next September. It was the last, but we react fast. We were 100 people working full time. We worked very hard. We were the first ones in the market to launch a product for distance learning, to offer a product for free for everyone.
All the kids were at home. So.
At home. We were the first ones to offer a solution. It wasn't anything complex. It was very simple. But to prepare some resources for all the schools to work in distance learning, no? And then we also launched a training session for teachers that got viral. And thanks that, we survived. Then suddenly here in Spain, we thought that after summer, everything would be normal, and schools started to buy, and we survived. But it could be a very difficult moment. It was like a difficult moment that became
an opportunity.
Also luck, but also we work hard.
If you had to say one big mistake that you've done during these years and that you learned from, which one would you say? Not an easy question.
It's not an easy question. Just yesterday I was talking about that with Isaac, with one of co-founders, and I will not say about this example because it's too specific and too much close. I don't know. For example, 2 years ago, no, we started to internationalize. 2 years and a half ago, and Enrique was one of the people who was in the board, pushing to go international. It's not easy with our product and with our market. At the end, in each market you have to be local in terms of education, no? And if you are in the school, you have to translate your product very well, and you have to localize very well, and also
but maths.
Yes,
the advantage is global, no? Like
it's very similar, but each standard, each standards are like the curriculums creates the standards, and you have to follow the standards. Each country have some details that you have to adapt, and you have to be perfect. And yes, we didn't know how to do it, how to internationalize. Anyone from my executive team were international or were from Catalonia, and we were talking in Catalan with the leadership teams. And what we did is to send 8 people of the team to live abroad. And nowadays, I could think that 8 markets was a lot too much, no? Too many, no? We could have done 4, and in fact, it could be a mistake. But
at the same time, maybe even if they not all work, you were able to test them,
of course,
and then
and now do double bet in the ones that are working. And after the decision, I think that it's positive, the outcome.
But it was really hard.
But it was really hard in terms of management. It was
frustration,
a crazy 2 years.
And talk me, I know it's been crucial for Ahmad. Talk me how has been for you working with advisors. You've done, remember that from the very beginning, you always selected the best person that you could in each field. and bring them to teach your team all that. This is not only advisor or mentors, but even trainers. But talk me how important it is for other startups and founders to find the right advisors.
It's key. It's key. We always say that at the end, the best things that have happened to us is when we have been moving out of the office, no, looking for people who have already done something similar to us, and asking for the mistakes and how they done what we are trying to do. And yes, we are always trying to find people to explain completely transparent. We are not afraid to explain what we do, and then to receive feedback from his point of view. And it's something that we continue doing. For example, now that we are opening US, something that is helping us to avoid a lot of mistakes. And in terms of everything, of go to market, sales process, how the districts work, in terms of math education, we always try to find advisors and to.
So I need to point out on this point because I think it's extremely important, and the humility that is behind asking for help, it's key, more in the early stages. And I remember very well that you were always asking, do you know who is the best at whatever? Do you know, and looking and looking and looking, and then when you found the right person, you were ready to pay what needed to be paid for them to train you or train your team or train other people, and you felt like we are just gonna be learning from them. We don't need to hire them full time because that can be very expensive, but we're gonna hire the best practices. No, we're gonna learn from the best.
And make it
practices.
simple, no? To start
Yeah.
a small collaboration, and who knows what will bring. And start small. And
Yeah, because at the end you made your product, but there's a lot of other things to do well in a startup, and instead of just hiring, you were getting this knowledge inside, no, to grow.
yes, talking about me and now about direction is what was saying before. We think now that math is key, and we want to become a reference brand, a reference organization, a reference product in terms of math education. We want that worldwide, and we want that when anyone, a family, a teacher, a school leader, think about, I need that about math, I need a training, I need resources, I need assessment tools, I need anything about math, they have to think in us. This is our vision, to become very specialized, and to become a leader. And we think that having this vision clear and to communicate well to the team is really important, because when you communicate well the direction and everyone knows the direction, it's much easier to be aligned and to work together. And now is what we have decided. We will see if we are able to be relevant and to be the best and to be reference in all the markets and in all worldwide. But now is the direction that we want to take. And it's what I was saying, is be more specialized.
Yeah, instead of trying to, like, you have the customers, the schools, I'm gonna sell more stuff to them, which seems easy or low-hanging fruit.
Yes, it could be. We think that could be a short-term win, short-term win, a short-term growth. We think that what we are designing is most difficult. We have a very long-term vision. We are not here for the short term. We always tell everyone, we are now, we didn't tell, but we are now professional investors in terms of VCs. And since the beginning, we were very clear in terms of expectations. In Nomad, we want to build something for the long term. And if you want to invest to have a ROI, no, a return of investment in short term, this is not your place. And with this long-term vision, we think that being the best in what you do, I don't know how we will monetize. In a lot of time, we are monetizing a lot, but there are a lot of things that we are doing and we don't know how we will monetize. But we think that
you're still investing a lot.
But if you have a good product, a good brand, and you have the best people in terms of what you do, you will be able to realize how to do it.
Yeah, and so you mentioned it, selecting the right investors, the right people that come with you on that journey. How has been the funding round for you? What's your experience there?
Yes, but to tell about that very fast, and we only have done and so you know, Enrique, two financial rounds. One was at the end of 2018. It was less than 1 million. It was very small, and with this very small, depend on, but with this money, we were able to grow in a profitability. Always, every year we were profitable, we were sustainable, no? Every year, and we did quite very well until 2021 when we decided, no, to go to grow markets, to go internationally, and we did the last financial round that was 1 year and a half ago, and it was also in the right moment. It was just in the limit that the financial market conditions were changing, and yes, we were lucky again because we were lucky, and also we did something that I think it was very smart. We were to look for money when we didn't need it. And what it means, we had our plan A was to continue growing organically from Spain, and we had a plan B that was let's try to bring what we are doing to other markets, and for do that we need money. And
if you don't get the money, you continue the plan.
Yes, and doing that, we were able to attract different investors, and we could decide. And what we decide is that we decide to bring on board the ones who we were more aligned in terms, in vision, and in people, on people relationship. No? Then they became your co-founder, no? Your investors and your shareholders, no? And we were very important to check that we do a good match in terms of people relationship.
Yeah, it can be hard to say no to money, but being able to select, it's a great advantage.
We were lucky also. Yeah. The market was in the right moment.
Yeah, and you had a really nice project, and so what's the advice that you would give to people when they're starting and they are starting the business? What would you like? It's a really hard thing. Just want to.
Yeah, you know it is. But
I can. So at the end, a lot of people want to start business, and I feel myself in that bucket of people. When I was very young, also when I started, I just wanted to do a company, no? And this pressure sometimes brings you to do the wrong thing.
You have to find you have to solve one problem. One problem, you have to identify one problem, and you have to solve this problem to someone, and you have to
and then repeat it to someone else.
Yes, and then to find if the one of the company of the person is open to pay, no, for what you are solving. But a lot of people ask me, a lot of employees, might want to start a company, and I always tell the same. Okay, but what you are solving, and what you are solving is something important, is something relevant, or is not relevant. And I think that is key. And then the team, no, which is your team. I think that it's basic to be a solo entrepreneur. I think that it's very difficult. I admire a lot the ones who
we have a lot of those here.
It's amazing, but I think that it's really important to have a co-founders, or to have a co-founder team, no? A team that is with you, that complements you. Yes. It's my vision. I don't know, but because nowadays with the AI tools, no, you can build a lot of great companies, small companies without many people, and that's great.
I mean, there is a lot of now businesses that are, and we call it a lot of people here, digital entrepreneurs that are able to build something and just online find their customers, and that's one of the advantages. No,
I'm not this kind of entrepreneurs. I'm the typical entrepreneur who go school per school, selling. But I admire this kind of entrepreneurs, but I don't know how to do it.
Let me go on a bit more on the personal side. Outside of work, what drives you? Personal passions, experiences that keep you motivated. One of the challenges for being entrepreneurs is having a good balance.
It's a really good life. It's a really good question, and it touched me very close now, because some years ago I realized that the best for the company is that I have to be in my best version personally, no, and 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 at the end you have a big responsibility to lead a company, to have employees, to have clients. Clients is a big responsibility, and what we have been trying to work a lot as a leadership team, my executive team, is to 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 incorporate a growth mindset, but not only in terms of professional, also only in terms of personal, And my one of my biggest focus as a person is to be a great executive,
A great leader.
a great leader, but not at the cost of my personal life. No, having a balance, and I think that it's something that it depends of the energy that you dedicate, how you prioritize.
And how are you doing that?
It's great. It's something uh, I have been reading a lot about. I have been talking about a lot about these topics with people. And for example, nowadays, in the last year, I have been dedicating a lot of time. I have book time in a daily basis for myself. For example, in the past, I start to work at 8 in the morning. Now I start to work in at 9:30. But I try to wake up at 6. And from 6 to 9 it's time for me. It's time for me, for reading, for doing sports, for to develop myself. And it's something that makes a big difference, because then you start the day in a different emotionally, yes, way of, no, in a different emotion. And it's really, really important. The first years, no, the first 3 4 years that when we started, I didn't have time to think about these topics. It was everything was work, and it was important because at the end you have to survive. But now that we have a more long-term vision and a more sustainable vision, being well with yourself, in order to be able to lead, is key. It's one of the most important things for the leader, I think.
Have you felt burnt out in the process?
Mm, uh, I think that yes, but also I think that the entrepreneurs, we have like
Extra life, so.
no, yeah, yes, no, we have like an amazing, I don't know, we have an ability that is that to believe that you are okay always, and to see the positive way of things. I always
reframing. That's what we
reframe,
sometimes
no?
we reframe the reality, and we just put
Totally.
it as a positive thing, no matter what's going
Everyone
on.
in the company tell, oh, Andreu, you always see the right, the positive way of, I don't know. Yes.
Otherwise, it would be much harder, no, sometimes. So
Yes.
everything is seen as an opportunity, and that's where you find opportunities. And then when
Yes,
we talk
but
about luck,
sometimes it's not you are not seeing the reality.
yeah,
You see but
you don't want to see the reality.
yes, but yes, for sure, I'm having burnout, and I always work a lot with the team. For me, the team is key, and having people that can trust, and I can tell what I'm worrying about. It's very helpful.
Mm-hmm. I think apart from the secret formula of learning maths that we'll ask at some point, no, I think it's time that if you guys have questions, you can ask Andreu. I think he can help any of you in anything. I don't know if we have also Natalia, and we have questions there or not, yeah, or from people here. Any question, John?
Congratulations! I saw you raised a decent, really large round not too long ago. It's famously hard to sell to schools. Can you tell maybe the story of your first sale or an early sale that basically how you got that done?
Yes, the first sale is what I must tell it. We were selling another thing. We were selling an extracurricular product, after school product, and the school asked, "And why I can't buy this? No, for the yeah for the school." And I say yes, and we don't have anything. But it was at the beginning. At the end, our sales process is very traditional. We know the schools. Everyone knows the schools, the email and the number, and we have a specialist team that is we call them the meeting generation team, who they are very good in creating the content, contacting the schools until they give us the first touch, the meeting, and then we have another team that they are really good going from the meeting to the close the deal, and it's like a funnel. Something that what it was very helpful for us at the beginning. We base all the sales process in a book from a book that is called Predictable Revenue. It's a very famous book, and the sales process is very. After 7 years, every year we iterate a lot, but it's a traditional top-down sales process. Something that people don't know. People think that, oh, you have created an amazing product, and thanks
That
that
sells alone, and that's not the case.
I don't know in which part we are better.
Yeah, the machinery or the product, no? Like machinery of selling is the key, and actually talking to customers is the key. I'm just gonna go very briefly, but my first startup, 2000, we started in 2001, and it was about sending free SMSs. You know, we all know SMSs, free SMSs, because we allowed people to come to our website. They would come just to send free SMSs. We actually wanted to sell them things in the website. But they came to send free SMSs, and that was our way of advertising. And then 2002 and 2002, 2003, it stopped being free. We said, oh, we don't have any more business. But luckily, we had some customers that were already sending massive SMS, and they told us, if it's not free, how much is it? We said, oh, okay, you want to buy that? And that's when the business started.
Being very
Like
close.
talking to customers at the end.
I have the first 13 schools, 100 schools that we started in 2017. They still call me, and I still for me it's the first priority. If one school call me, it's client first. It's a very important.
Is your thermometer too also, no? Do you have a complaint? You know that something might not be going very well.
It's very important. I don't know if I answered. Yes, thank you.
Or yeah, please.
Aquí también.
Okay, so you want to specialize more in math, so it makes me think that even in your product there you see a lot of room of improvement because competence there. So my question is basically what's that like? So where do you fail or have to improve or should improve, and how do you detect it?
Yes, when at the end is I think that it's like everything, no? When you take one topic and you start to learn one topic, you discover that you never you never end, no? I think that it's with math. Imagine at the end, one of the things we have to improve in a lot of things. For example, sorry. Yes.
Just my doubt is, I'm obviously I agree with that. So the thing is that how is that better than not generalized? You know. So I understand.
Okay. I understand why we decide that and not going
Yes.
to launch different
the
verticals.
room should be like quite huge to make this decision. And this is
The first important thing is we have a lot of challenges that we need to have to solve, and it's important that you don't open too many things, no? In parallel. For example, we are now with a lot of international markets that we have to consolidate. We are now also we launched our secondary the product for middle and higher education.
Yeah.
Higher education is here in Spain is secondary, no? Secondary schools, and we are growing there, and the challenge is big, and we are solving, but we have to improve it. We are also investing a lot of money in assessment, in have like the right picture in about each kid in which moment is in the learning process. No, we think that we have to solve some challenges before to open new challenges. This is like mainly speaking, but then in terms of strategy and vision, for us it's very easy. When we go to school, we say, look, we know only about math. We say that. I don't know if I'm the best or not, but my
But that wins
competitors,
credibility, no?
yes, my competitors are publishers who do everything. it's very easy to communicate, no? And have a lot of advantages. It's full of advantages and not advantages, no? But then we have to build a platform, and we have to build a sales team like the same size and the same quality that if we had 7 subjects. The scale economy is not easy to do it. We have advantages and disadvantages, but we think that focus more than ever is key. And we are a lot of people, and we think that we are really well organized and we have a great management process, but focus. I don't know if I answer, but focus. We think that for the long term, it will. We will see. In some years, you can invite me again, and I will say if it was the right answer, the right decision, or not. It wasn't the right decision. See?
Hi, Andreu. I'm Helena. I'm also a huge fan of your project.
Thank you.
And my kids also use the app, despite the fact that their school doesn't have Innovamat in their curriculum. My question is about some of the barriers that you might encounter when you start the first sale, because obviously you've mentioned the fact that it's very important to replace something, right? So it means that probably the teachers are in their comfort zone using something that they know how to do every year, right? So what is the other, and it's actually, my understanding is that the math is also a change of mindset, right? It's teaching maths in a different way. Right?
We need a transformation.
What are the barriers that you encounter, and how do you find that champion inside the school that is able to believe that there's another way to teach math?
We are lucky. Sorry again. We are lucky to be born in the right place, in the right moment, with the right people. No, at the end, when we started in 2017, there was an enough a quantity of schools who were looking for something different of a textbook, and no one was offering that. And suddenly, we appeared offering that, and it wasn't exactly that. Then we pivot, and we iterate the product until have a better product market fit. But at the beginning was a lack. At the beginning was crazy, our conversion rate. Every 100 schools that we were presenting, almost 40% were buying our product. This is amazing. 40% of conversion rate. Nowadays, we have a normal conversion rate.
Right moment to market, huh?
The right moment, the market, but now we are much better. We are in everything. We're much better.
And you don't convert that much.
We have a 10-12% of conversion rate, but we relate that to
more mature, more competitors,
more competitors, less mature market, and for example, education is not an homogeneous market in Spain. It's a competency that depends of the communities, yes, of the general comunidades,
autonomous,
communities, and each community is completely different, but you have to adapt. You have to adapt, and yes, and for example, one of the biggest barriers is that the teachers, we need that teachers want to change a little bit the way of they teach and children learn math. If they don't want to change anything, our product is not right for the teachers, and it's the most difficult thing that we have. And we invest a lot of money. Some crazy thing that we do is we continue doing professional development training session for teachers in person. We gather schools in big places, and we do conferences and events.
Big auditoriums, and you bring thousands of teachers.
Because it's the best way to explain what we do and to motivate them to change.
Let me go for a question that is from the community. So the question is, what do you think this project is going to change for the kids in some years? Have you felt? Have you measured the evolution of a kid that has done a Noamad versus the traditional way?
We are investing a lot on that also. We have 3 people working full time in the research team, doing efficacy studies and doing different kinds of studies. And we already have some study published in our blog and we have also other articles being reviewed in a peer reviews in a peer in a yes in a how to call it in English,
Specialized.
in a specialized
Yeah.
publishing science companies,
Publications. Yeah.
and yes, and what we believe at the end, at the key of in terms of math education, what we try to do is we don't change math. Math is something that is math, but what we try to do is let's try to help students and teachers that always kids have to understand what they are doing. We have like we have forbidden for ourselves.
It's not memory, no?
We avoid to introduce anything that the kid can understand. No, it's like our principle, but the rest it's math, it's the curriculum, it's the standards, no? And we think that doing that, yes, we are already seeing good results, and we think that we will see better results in a scale in the future.
Any other question here? Otherwise, I have more questions of the community. Give seconds. Then, how you manage when your team make a mistake? No.
The most important thing when there is a mistake is to understand the root cause. No? Why, and go to, but always not to understand superficially. Is why is happening that, and go to the root, and then make sure that we learn. We let to have mistakes, and we let because we go fast, we do a lot of things, but what we don't allow is to repeat all the mistake. It's something that is not always can happen, but it have to be very specifically.
I have another question, which is a bit repetitive, but here, yeah, please, Andrea.
Thanks, Andreu, for the presentation. I am very interested about math education. I did study mathematics myself, and what I find fascinating in this context is the fact that you are exposed to a lot of different methodology, and especially going international, you have access to a very powerful source of information to see which methodologies are more or less effective, or simply they are focused on different aspects. Um, and I'm wondering how you are learning from this, and if the company is like trying to bring back from one place to another, to cross-pollinating the methodologies, and how this also interacts with the curriculum, which is defined at community or country level.
It's a good question, but at the end, when no, we could think that math is very complex and everywhere is different, but what at the end we are not inventing anything. What almost everything is invented. You only have to go to look for and to find it. No, we always say we started in our math. We are a research based company. Everything that we do is based on some research, and the research are there from NCTM, from United States, from Enrich, from Cambridge. There are like different top organizations, and there are like a universal agreement in which are the best way. But in a schools, the tradition, the tradition is more powerful than what the research says, and no one have done the work
To change it.
to
No?
take the research and make like a useful, a product, an easy to use product for teachers, and it's what we do. We are not selling a secret sauce.
So you are helping teachers and schools use the best practices.
Yes,
no?
and then there are not a perfect solution. The perfect solution in terms of math learning to have a great teacher. And what we try to do is to transform the teachers to great math teachers, and to provide them great resources. I don't know if I am answering, but there are not like different methods, different. there is like a universal agreement, and in which is the best way to introduce addition, multiplication, division, and at the end they're like, let's try to teach kids different strategies. Let's try to make them competent in which context to use each strategy, and the most important thing, they have to understand why.
Um, yeah.
Yes.
I think at the same time there are many different approaches, and that you need to make a decision. And the approach which are used in schools in Singapore are not the same used in Finland or in the US.
Yes,
to make a few examples.
but
So,
if you go to the details, it's more. There are more. It's more culturally, but in how it's similar. There are a lot of similarities, but it's interesting. And then there is the differences, but they're not relevant. At the end, also, we always sell the same. We are not selling a method. If some teachers want to change, want to change, you are the teacher and the provider of the resources. It's like we are very open. We try to be very open-minded. There is not a perfect solution.
so in principle, like the teachers, they have access to all different.
No, no, our product.
It's part of the localization, no?
Yes, it's part of the regulation. Our product, we provide session per session what they have to do. But if they want to change, we don't say you have to do it like that. No, you are the teacher. It's something very important. We are a teacher-led curriculum. We like the teacher. We don't want to transform the teacher to a robot. But there are a lot of products who want to transform teachers to not make things the teacher. I don't know if
I think it's clear. I guess they are a crutch for the teacher to help do a better job, but the teacher has sometimes different ways, then they will use them. No,
and it's what is saying the research. Is correct that there are a lot of countries, small countries, who have great results in PISA, having a more military approach in terms of for teachers. But then when you go to our context, and it's already proven that the teacher have to understand what they are doing and why, and you have to make them participate. Yes, they are a key factor. The same that the family is key in the learning process, also the community, everything.
yeah, and there's more questions on how actually they learn maths, but I think that there's really a hard question. Like that you
We
already
try
said
to.
it. Like
We have a lot of content in the website,
Yeah.
in the YouTube. There are in
Yeah.
Catalan, in
And I think
English.
our focus, maybe we need to shift it more. Like, let me ask
But
a different question.
it's interesting that
Yeah,
people ask
super,
about
super,
math,
super.
because normally a lot of people ask more about business, about money, but
But let me ask you another question from more entrepreneurs had. And when did you know you were an entrepreneur? Are you a born entrepreneur? Like you were born entrepreneur, or you it's something that came later? Because a lot of people are born entrepreneurs, and then there's a lot of other people that kind of at some point of their life they change and they want to become an entrepreneur and try something. No? And I think it's interesting to understand from both points.
I
What do
think
you-
now that in perspective, I have been always being an entrepreneur. I'm from a small village, 30 minutes away from here, in front of Montserrat, and I was born there and I live there. I love my village. I do a publicity that is called Vacarisas. Since I was a kid, I was always doing things. At the beginning, I was building a tree house in a tree. Then I started to be a football coach. Then I organized a summer campus for kids. Then I built a illegal pizzeria, pizzas in the. I have been always building things, but yes, but my passion, my passion was not about entrepreneur. It was more related about construction. I love buildings. I love to, but I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm here. But no, and at the end, but I think to answer the question is something I don't related to my family, to my environment. I think.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how people approach to entrepreneurship. No, there's different ways. We have any more questions? Yeah.
Andreu, one question is about I am creating a team with my friend, and one of them told me last time, okay, man, we need to think about what is the plan of the we need to where we find money. Um, so we are starting. In which moment do you think that is necessary to start to think in money and to invest?
That's a good question. When we started, we didn't know anything about the startups. We did then we did a trip to Boston to discover about the environment, about startups, VCs, and everything. But our focus was to build a business, and our focus was to build a business that have to be profitable since the beginning. For us, it was very important. Let's try to build something and sell this since the beginning, and like to use these resources to fund. We were also it was easier for us because we were young and we were living in our families.
Parasite.
Yes, and we were like we didn't have to pay any bill, and it was, and then after that we were like 2 years with our own resources. That was anything, and then at a time that we saw that it was like, okay, there is something. Okay, we think that it's not that think about 10 schools or 50 schools. It's something that we can scale, and it's something we need money, no, to professionalize what we are doing. We had this approach, but
That's bootstrapping.
Yeah, I think that is my personal situation. Is my friend is the founder of the I don't know what is in English in Boada.
yes.
Yeah. In Twitter, yeah.
And he know a lot about that, but I'm not sure that is the moment to think in this kind of project. He know he invests a lot of money.
Yeah. One advice that I could say for you in this case is, for me, symmetry between founders is key. I don't know if is in, but something that have been working very well in my case is I have been always been in the same personal situation with my co-founders, and we have been dedicating like very similar energy, very similar amount of time, very similar resources, no, and this is key. And in terms of money, depends a lot. In any case, it depends. I think that I didn't go to look for money because I couldn't. It was 22 years old without any track record. Who invest to a 20 years? There are a lot of people who invest in a 22 years old. I don't understand why. Without any track record. But if you are an entrepreneur, who are you? I don't know. You are older. You have experience. You see very clear the opportunity. My case, I didn't know what I was doing. I was learning in the same time. It depends on for my opinion. You are you can give a better advice.
I mean, there's many different ways to do it. You know, everyone will find their own. But I agree that focusing in solving something and bootstrapping first, if you can allow yourself to do it without many income, and that helps a lot. But sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes when the entrepreneur is a lot more experienced, they already know a market very well, and they have a track record, and then they can do something. They can prove that they can solve a problem, no, because they know it very well. It's a bit different in each case. And if there's no more questions, I will finalize with that one. Andreu, imagine that you're talking to Andreu from 7 years ago. What would be the best advice you would be giving him? I think that could be valid to many entrepreneurs.
I don't know if you have watched or seen the interview of NVIDIA CEO. It was
No?
I recommend. There is an interview. I don't remember the name, but you look for
NVIDIA CEO.
NVIDIA CEO. That I watch and I listen that Quiet podcast. It's a famous podcast from US.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The podcast lasts 4 hours each podcast. They are long, and he was saying that he if he would have to start again or decide again, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's the energy, the sacrifice, the decisions that you have to take. I always tell the same. I took the decision because I was innocent, and I didn't know anything about what I was doing. Now that I'm here, okay, I'm good. But for example, start again, what I have done, it's I don't know if I would,
Encourage yourself, no? Okay.
but
I would say the opposite. Everybody needs to try.
You yes,
Everybody
but
needs to try and fail. Fail is already a learning.
of course, but sometimes it's not easy to know when you have to stop.
Yeah.
When you are failing, and
Yeah.
you have to be really resilience is very important, but also knowing when you have to stop. But it's very difficult to start something.
It's super difficult.
The chances to survive are,
Yeah.
but yes.
Sorry. So thank you, Andreu.
Thank you for the
Thank you,
invitation.
everybody. Thank you for the audience and everyone. Thank you. Yeah.